Hello and welcome to a special edition of Willow Talk Extras from the SCG. It's the meeting of the hosts, if you like. We had Izzy Westbury, of course, all through the summer at the grounds. I was a complete couch potato, but doing the longer episodes in between test matches. And Hads was here for basically all. What a day, what a test series. Enjoyable for Australia. They've just walked off here behind us into the rooms with the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. Izzy, how was all that for you?
It was an amazing series, and I really will try and give you the neutral perspective and not the English perspective of anyone but Australia, because coming to the SCG, Test series is still alive. Even just today at lunchtime, the fact that India, who, let's be honest, did not deserve to be anywhere near the Australians in this series, Australia have outplayed them from pretty much Perth onwards. The fact that they could have retained it, absolutely beautiful.
Hads, what was the defining factor of today?
Oh, I think the defining factor was Bumrah, actually. I think as simple as that. He's had such a dominant effect on this series, and to have him not out there for the final moment made a huge difference. I thought Australia always had the game under control, but it would have been interesting if Bumrah was out there. He's caused so much trouble the whole series. He's won most of the big moments he's bowled into. The only time there was ever any pressure on him was when young Sam took him on in Melbourne, and he had to second guess what he was doing. So it was disappointing he wasn't out there. But what about Test cricket through this whole summer? We've seen world record crowds at the MCG. Look at the members here now. It's absolutely packed. No one wants to leave. This is what India brings. They bring a huge crowd, and the Australians, they aimed up. Yeah. They won all the big moments in this series.
Absolutely. If you're getting across exactly what went down on day 3 here, felt like a day 5. It was so absorbing the first 2 days. Day 2 was one of the best days of cricket we've all seen, as you summed up yesterday on Willow Talk Extras. But 162 was the target for Australia after Scotty Boland ended up with a 10-fer, ends up with man of the match. Fantastic. We're all looking around for Bumrah to walk out, and we don't see him, and it's like, oh, okay, it's going to be hard, especially when Australia got off to that rocket ship start with Sam Constas, and even Uzi was playing some shots. It was a quick start.
Absolutely ridiculous. I think it's Australia's best ever start in terms of the fastest, or the most runs they've ever scored was inside 3 overs, 35 off the bat. Well, off the bat I say, 2 lots of 5 wides. I mean, it was disastrous, especially considering India lost 4 wickets for 10 runs I think in the end. And that was, I guess that was the one dampener, because I kind of thought, I'm here to see a good contest, something that could be a bit of squeaky bum towards the end. And India really needed to get towards that 200 mark or have the Bumrah factor there, which was a missing. And that kind of, I guess, diffused the whole situation.
Squeaky bum time, by the way, is one of the most English or British expressions you can come up with. I think Sir Alex Ferguson in football came up with it a while back, but it was that. You were never quite certain of what was going to happen until Beau Webster has. So is this him, and we saw it in the first innings with the bat as well, is this him growing up on billiard tables in Belrive when they uncover, and you've been there, first day of a Shield game, I said, where's the wicket? Where is it? And there was a bit of spice in this one, and Beau played so well.
Well, I think what we've seen with Beau is 10 years of first-class experience, but in the last few years, he's dominated Shield cricket. He's got 900-run years, he's been the Player of the Year twice, and when he walked out there, it looked like he understood his game, even when he was in slips. They were 2 tough catches early, and he got himself into the game. But when it was his time to bat, he just looked like he knew his game, was in total control of what his style of game was going to be. And he's here to stay. It's going to be hard to get rid of him from this Test team. His bowling was a lot better than I thought. He offered something with the ball, and we hadn't seen that all series. Australia were really reluctant to use Mitch Marsh the whole time through the series. As soon as Beau Webster came in, he bowled a lot. And that made a difference.
Although, Adam, I don't know, if I was Beau Webster, I think I'd retire right now. Because with that unbeaten 39, he has a Test batting average of 96, which is only second to, the great Don Bradman. I'd walk home off that.
Well, we'll look forward in future episodes of Willow Talk to Sri Lanka, but, he's very agile. He can bowl off spin as well. He's going to be such an important part of that Sri Lanka tour coming up. Back to today, when did you notice Virat Kohli not only trying to manipulate the field and also the bowling, but the interactions with the crowd? Because I was high up in the Barongal, and I saw about 2 minutes worth of how's your sandpaper going, Australia, and 2 minutes of the fans yelling back at him, you really like to hang out by yourself and pleasure yourself. If you know what I mean. I won't use the word, but
He's a banker.
Yes, he's a banker.
Well, listen, I mean, Kohli, I think that was evident of a man that knew that he was up against it, or at least that his team was, that they were on the losing end at the moment. He knew that he had his talisman in Jasprit Bumrah, player of the series, deservedly so. They were going to have everything go their way. And so it's a bit, to be honest, it's a bit like me in my cricketing career, is that when I didn't have the tools in the shed to be able to execute, I just gave all the chit-chat as much as I possibly could. And it was the same with his body language, not just the whole strange sandpaper celebration when Smith got out, but in the slip cordon as well. He was, hands everywhere, and absolutely fine. He was just trying to find something else that India didn't have to execute it on the pitch, and wow, he's a character. We need characters, and he's such a great in the Test match game. Let him have it. I think he was untoward, but fine, go with it. They lost.
Yeah, they did.
I see it a bit different, Izzy. I see a man that is totally frustrated and been outplayed through the whole series. He got out the same way 8 times in a row.
Yeah.
As soon as he's walked out to bat, everyone in the commentary box, everyone around the ground says, we're going to bowl 4th, 5th stump. We're not worried about the length. We're just going to get the balls outside your eye line and you're going to make a mistake. We're talking about one of the greats of the modern game. And I think his reaction today showed he had no more answers. He had no more answers. Australian fans have been relentless the whole summer, as Indian fans are when you go over there. So to me, it was a reaction of someone that has run out of answers. You can't keep making the same mistake over and over again. And what we've seen at the end is he broke.
Yeah.
He broke, he reacted in a way that it wasn't emotional. It was just out of sheer frustration, the way he's been getting out to all series.
Personally, I didn't mind it because Australian cricket owned its past. It happened back in Cape Town all those years ago. I will say, though, it's a bit like when you have an argument with someone you're in a relationship with and you bring up something from 5 years ago. It's like, oh, you're bringing this up again. No, we're going back there. I mean, there's not something fresher that we can bring up that there's a problem with.
What have you done over Christmas? You're going to have that conversation tomorrow when you get home. At about 3 a.m, your missus is going to bring up, you did this 12 months ago on this exact day.
I literally have no idea where this conversation is going, but I'm rolling with it.
The problem is I haven't been home. That's the issue.
And it happened the same time 12 months ago.
Exactly. Bumrah, I mean, what he gave this Indian team. But just one on the future, because we'll divert obviously to Australia and looking ahead to the Ashes, but what of this Indian team? If Bumrah's got a problem, if that's a stress fracture again, that's another 12 months. Mohammad Shami can't get his body right. We saw the two guys, Mohammad Siraj, hats off the effort he put in, but what now for India?
Well, on Bumrah specifically, I really hope that this isn't anything particularly serious. We know that he's come off the back of quite major surgery on his back, and I think for the game of cricket, you want somebody like Bumrah to be there for the years ahead. For the Indian team more broadly, I think, to be honest, we're coming to the end of an era, and perhaps it's just hastened that a little bit quicker than some of its greats may have liked. They would have probably liked to have gone to the World Test Championship final. They'd have loved to have a send-off perhaps in England in that 5-test series. But to be honest, maybe the likes of Rohit, the likes of Virat Kohli, possibly even Siraj, maybe this is the end of that era, because goodness me, India as a country and as a cricketing behemoth is not short of some absolute superstars coming through. We've seen that with the likes of Nitish Kumar Reddy, Washington Sundar over the last few years as well. But just look at the domestic game, whether it be in the IPL or the Ranji Trophy. There is a bright, bright future for India, and perhaps it's time to start looking that way.
Well, they definitely got the talent. The one thing that worries me about Bumrah is he was the draw card. What he did this series, I can't remember anyone dominating a series like that.
I've seen lose 3-1.
Yeah, and
lose 3-1, get man of the series.
I've seen Mitchell Johnson do it in the 2013-14 Ashes, but every time he came on to bowl, the whole game changed. It was an event. The theatre around the ground changed. Everyone come from the bars out to their front seats. So I just hope, like you, Izzy, it's not serious. I know he had back issues about 24 months ago. He had the surgery to correct it, and for the game's sake, you don't want to lose someone like Bumrah. And the other thing is, with Rohit Sharma and that coming towards the end of their career, I thought tactically he was outstanding in Perth.
Yeah.
So he'll get the opportunity to captain a new breed of Indian cricketers, and they've got talent. Don't worry about that. When these guys go and a generation a new generation come through, they've got more talent than anyone in the world.
So it's 2 more years before Australia and India meet in a test series. It's over there at the end of January 2027, a 5-match test series on Indian soil. So we've got a bit of a spell before we see this all again. Has just one before we get to our Secret Cricket Club answers and questions and answers. You've been in that dressing room when a test match ends early afternoon. What does the next 10 hours look like? Like, is there a bubbling excitement inside you, not just because you've won a test match, but because you know you've got a large runway to get down in terms of celebrations?
Well, first and foremost, you know you've got 2 days off. And at the end of that, you would have already known you've got a window to have a rest. So what happens now, the players will get in there. Obviously, everyone will be extremely excited. There'll be a lot of emotion. The families will come in, kids will be running around everywhere. But you also just take a little bit of time to yourself. You're absolutely mentally exhausted. And then everything goes on. You have families come in, you enjoy the moment with them. Then later in the night at probably 2 a.m, just as you're getting home, the families are gone. And then the Australian team take a moment to themselves. Yeah. They'll sit there, they'll reflect on what's happened. Yeah. A lot of the time they go and sing the song out in the middle. They might go downstairs to the wine cellar, the Matthew Haddin wine cellar.
Wait, there's a secret SCG wine cellar?
Yeah. Underneath the dressing room.
Why am I only finding out about this now?
Well, I tell you what, our Willow Talk listeners will know they'll be down there at some stage in that wine cellar, but that's when it'll be really special. It'll be special now with their family and they'll enjoy the crowd, but when they get a time to reflect as a group and really understand what they just did, Nathan Lyon gets everyone together, you got a beer in hand, and then the song starts. Mate, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I did quickly chat to Nathan Lyon. He did say, some of these young guys are like, when are you making your afternoon speech? And he just said, afternoon? Pardon? There's a bit of time to go before that.
I remember a funny one in there when we won the Ashes. So all families come in. It's great to have a catch up with everyone and everyone's, because it's not just you, it's about everyone who's been involved. Anyway, the kids are going to get an icy out of the ice machine. And Peter Siddle, who could barely move it by that time after, he ran over and put a do not touch sign on there. And we're all looking, mate, the kids need it, they're going to run around. He goes, what I've just put in there, these kids do not want. So there was some beautiful margaritas had at the end of play, but I tell you what, all our kids slept that well that night.
So there's a margarita machine back there as well as the cellar.
Oh, it's just getting better and better and better.
Okay, let's get to our Secret Cricket Club questions, and thank you for these all throughout summer. Kept things interesting and spicy towards the end of each podcast. You're the youngest here, so you can relate to this one perhaps the best, because I sure as hell can't. Is Sam Constas, Chris asked this one, is Sam Constas a TikTok cricketer? Surely he needs to be more onerous of his top order wicket. I think he means protective. I think that's the word he's looking for. But
I'm flattered to think that I have anything like a TikTok account, but we'll roll with it. He's there for the clicks, I guess, and the little moments. No, I think he was a man that was brought in for a particular brand of cricket, not only for himself to play that as an opener, but for the partnership and to kind of accelerate, try something different, because goodness me, it wasn't working in the conventional way against Bumrah, and that really settled down Khawaja. We saw the way he played today. But part of that was because of the way Sam Constas played and went after it. Absolutely fine with that. The other thing to add is that he's a 19-year-old boy.
Yes.
And in a way, he has got a lot of growing up to do. But what fun it is watching him, not a care in the world. He's making his debut for Australia in a way that many of us out here, if we'd been picked for Australia, we'd be all starry-eyed and thinking, Christ, this is amazing. So absolutely, right now, right here, go for it. Be that TikTok cricketer. But I think in the next few months, few years, etc., learn, adapt, play the way that he, from what I understand from his Sheffield Shield stuff, he is a fantastic cricketer, conventionally so. So enjoy the moment, absolutely for the time being, be a TikTok. So he has to grow into a Facebook cricketer, would be that the next stage?
It's probably when he's 65 years old, but maybe there's an Instagram phase to go through as well in the middle there.
That's the one.
I tell you what, I think we'll see a much different player in Sam the next test series he plays. But what you've got to give the kid credit for, when he got selected, the words coming out of the camp, we need to throw something different at the world's best bowler. And so a 19-year-old came into the team and did something that we all just sort of stood back in commentary all over the country and went, wow, I've never seen that before. So two things with that, he's an unbelievable team man.
Yeah.
He came in and did what he had to do. And the whole theatre of MCG, he would never played in front of more than 500 people. He had 350,000 people there, all wanting to be him.
Yeah.
So how are you meant to react when you're 19? So his game will start to develop. He'll play differently when he next gets a chance, but he's only a kid. The next closest to the team is 31 years of age. I don't even know who he's talking to, but he'll learn, he'll get better, and we'll see a different style of game next time.
And they're about to find out if he's a 2-pot screamer behind us as well. I might have found that out after the MCG. Ben's got a question. Thoughts on the Indian staff grabbing the ball before it hits the boundary? Happened yesterday. Didn't notice it today, but they were onto it every time the ball went near the rope.
To be honest, I don't know what they're doing around the rope anyway. I mean, there's so many staff here, it seems absolutely absurd.
At 4 points. At the 4 corners of the ground they got them. So
to me, I just ask the question, why? I mean, it's just completely unnecessary. Do you, fine. It didn't change anything in the game. Australia still won.
I'm just amazed they can fit in that dressing room, Hats. It's a small dressing room. They've got that many people working for them.
I tell you what, yes, you don't want anyone else touching the game ball, but all around the world, and you see it when you go to India, there's kids normally sat all around the world. They're eating their twisties. You give them a Powerade, and their job's to throw the ball back. So I'm not too worried about it.
Patrick's question, why didn't Australia order a benign SCG pitch? If India were in the same position, it would be a raging turner, basically. Sonny Gavaskar had a go at the fact that we have a go at pitches that have too much in them early in a test match over there.
Well, I think we were having a go at it, and I think and that goes back to the MCG. What an amazing test match that was, going the full 5 days. And of course, there are going to be questions about the fact that how the seam coming off this pitch was ridiculous. That it's finished inside 2.5 days. Absolutely fine, but the idea that Australia were ever going to build a pitch that was meant for a draw, I mean, how un-Australian is that? I grew up knowing that Australians never settle for the draw, so that was never going to happen.
They changed their watering patterns, I learned from the curator. Because it's been so dry, they put a bit more water on it than usual.
Well, it's interesting. It's different grass on the surface, and we're only starting to learn what that does. Australia, no way, got the surface that they asked for. They prepare wickets in Australia. Each venue has its own unique style, and this one's just starting to find its feet again. We've seen over time the SCG has changed a lot, and I think we're going to see more and more of a wicket at the SCG that carries a lot, a little bit more grass, but also if it was a bit hotter day 1 and 2, I think we eventually would have got a good batting surface.
Brenton's got a question. Hads, what does Mitch Marsh need to do to get back into the test squad, especially seeing he's pretty unlikely to go to Sri Lanka?
Well, I think he just needs to get back, clear his head for a bit, and sit down where he wants his cricket to go. Does he want to do all the work to get back to being a test cricketer? Because the one thing that came out of the series is he was struggling at times with his body. And does he want to keep doing that? Has he got one last push to be available for an Ashes campaign, or does he take his focus now to white ball cricket? So that's something that Mitch is going to have to sit down and have a think about, see what the next bit looks like. And only he can answer. And
Justin, Izzy, I know the running thread of the test is building Boland a statue.
Look who I've found, everyone.
Hey!
Hello. He's the co-host. How's Mitch?
How are you going?
He's good.
He's going to be very, very drunk. Are you going to expect him at home soon?
No, I don't think he will be drunk, but
He won't.
I probably won't see him for 2 days. We'll wait and see.
Perfect.
And are you allowed to indulge in a few celebrations before the Women's Ashes come up?
Yes.
Hang on. You've got an Ashes around the corner. Don't you have to lock
You've got
down and
loads of
prepare?
time.
I'm ready to go. It's all about balance. You train really hard and you recover just as hard, and then you wake up and you do it all again.
So there's no John Buchanan style army camp going on?
No, but I do have to play on Thursday, so we'll wait and see how that unfolds. But there's always a pool and a recovery, right? I'm at Hads' place anyway.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Very good recovery at our place.
Quick one overall. What do you make of the whole series?
As a fan of cricket, amazing. I thought it was amazing. I thought the wickets in particular created a really nice contest. I think we haven't always had that in Australia, which has been cool to watch. But would have been interesting to see if Bumrah played today, what would have happened. But I think the series as a whole was awesome, and the Aussie boys will be pretty pumped with that, I'd say.
Awesome. Let you go and find out what's
ya.
in those
See
essays.
ya.
And
One of the
Secret
greats.
Wine Cellar as well.
The captain. She'll be back soon for Willow Talk, maybe after the Ashes. But Justin asks, Izzy, I know the running thread of the test is building Boland a statue. Do we even have enough bronze to build one for both the MCG and the SCG?
I mean, his tally is ridiculous. He's only played 3 tests. He's got an average that's only surpassed by Bumrah, I think, 13 point something. But only just. horses for courses in many respects. Australia have picked him at the right times. He's bowled absolutely superbly. Goes back to the whole line and length. I mean, yeah, I will forever have scars of watching his debut. So I know that in Australia, Boland, build him as many statues as you want. Great man.
We'll see him next summer at the MCG.
Yeah,
There's going to be a few replays of that spell as well. Haz, final one for you. How many trucker hats did you wear across the summer? And have you found the one that's for you eventually?
I found the one that suits
your
me.
forever trucker hat.
Yeah, the Richies have them, the members bar have them. My New Year's Eve party, every kid and adult have them. I think one's still floating down the river, but...
When he ran out, he got booed at the SCG. That was something I'd never thought I'd witness.
Because he ran out of them.
Absolutely.
Give them away.
Yeah,
Dear.
but there's more coming. I've put
Excellent.
another order, a couple of thousand are coming, so if anyone sees me around, keep sending them in. Mate, I reckon I have, from all the clubs around Australia, over 100 trucker caps now, so thank you everyone.
Awesome. Had seen a couple of days for more Willow Talk. Izzy, great job with extras. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
For
Well
taking
done,
over
Izzy.
and guiding us through the summer. Outstanding work. And to producer Ethan, got it out eventually. Sorry, Ethan, it's been a long summer on the couch. And also producer Sam for putting it all together. Hope you've enjoyed it, including our Indian friends. Love the fact that you've got involved, especially on YouTube, and left us some advice underneath as well. Keep doing that. Look onto it. Willow Talk, Spotify, YouTube, obviously, where else has iTunes, all
Members
of those
bar.
things. Apple Podcasts.
Just in here.
And of course, the Listener app. Download the Listener app. Check out Willow Talk. That's us from the SCG. Yeah, thanks for watching the Willow Talk podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't have to miss an episode wherever you are. And while you're at it, check out these videos up here. They're mostly good.